Scott Jennings on CNN cracks me up. He was talking about the deportations, and he goes, I got some new rules. You spend more than 15 seconds at the milk part of the coffee shop, El Salvador.
More than 15 seconds at the coffee creamer bar at the coffee shop, straight to El Salvador. 2 or more walking side by side on a sidewalk, you're gone, El Salvador. Recline your seat on an airplane, El Salvador. Disney adults, you're going too. And finally, pronouns in your email signature. Out of here. Those are my EOs.
Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm so confused about the El Salvador shit. Because if you watch CNN and MSNBC, they tell you one thing about this guy.
Then the president of El Salvador comes on. He's like, "Yo, he's not coming back."
Yeah, the dude from outside, the president of El Salvador was like, "He is a criminal. He was here illegally."
How can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
So this court document was going around Twitter. Take it with a grain of salt, but it was said that he was seeking asylum in America because his rival gang in El Salvador wanted to kill him. And it's like, that's the cost you got to pay for being in a gang.
Hey, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what's true and what's not true. I'm just looking at all the conversation around this guy, and I really don't know what the issue is, because was he here illegally? I don't know.
If the president of El Salvador...
Was he a member of a gang, MS-13? I don't know.
But at what point are we at now if the president of El Salvador says he is not from America and we're not sending him back? He actually said it even more fire. He goes, I cannot physically smuggle an El Salvadorian into America.
Yeah, he said he can't ship back a... Did he say terrorist?
He said smuggle.
Terrorist. Yeah, he said
because it would be illegal to bring him in.
I can't smuggle a terrorist back to America. I really don't know. Chris, what do you think of that situation? I really don't know what the fuck is going on.
It's not about this individual. It's about the ability of Trump to lock up people that he wants to lock up going against court orders.
I agree with that. But is this the case to use?
The court,
because I don't know if this guy was here illegally.
He was here.
Because if you're defying court orders because you're saying this guy was a gang member, he was here illegally.
The lower level court said you must effectuate his return.
Okay.
Right? The difference and the reason that Trump, I believe wrongly, is claiming that they won is because the Supreme Court said, I believe the terminology was, you must facilitate. So what they're saying is, hey, if this guy shows up at the United States, we'll let him back in. It's not on us to bring him to the States.
Yeah.
To me, it's about a much larger thing. It's about what you're seeing with this guy who was part of Trump's administration, who tweeted against January 6th and the election claims. Trump's trying to investigate him. Lita James, now Trump is going after her, looking into stuff. It's about him.
You knew that was coming, though.
I know, but it's about him weaponizing the court system. It's about him not responding to the court's rulings. It's about him taking control. I think it's very dangerous.
Do you think the Democrats did that as well when they were in power? Not saying two wrongs make a right, but do you think that that's something that did happen?
Well, I think the difference is the things that, with the exception of January 6th, because there's no precedent for that, I think the things Trump was charged with are things that he's been charged with in other settings or accused of in other settings.
By the way, it's going to be typical political hypocrisy because, yes, you did push back. You did say Democrats weaponized the DOJ, and now Republicans are going to do the same thing. Like, you know that.
So that's my only thing is, like, let's cry about it both times, not when it happens to the group that we support.
Suppose one of them, the person's guilty.
Well, was he guilty?
Both of them are probably guilty.
Was he peeing on the Russian girls? Like, with the whole Russiagate shit, was bullshit.
Everybody knew Russiagate was bullshit. I don't know if he's peeing on anything. I just want to know if this guy is illegal or not. That's what I want to know.
Yes, he's illegal.
Is he, though? I don't know. I really don't know.
No,
he's illegal and he's a gang member. And there was no evidence offered to refute that he wasn't a gang. Or do you want me to read
the gang member thing? I didn't, there's another version of it where his family owned a business that was targeted by gangs. Didn't say he was part of the gangs that he had to leave.
I really don't know.
I just think this
although the court is reluctant to give evidentiary weight to the respondent's clothing as an indication of a gang affiliation, the fact that a past proven and reliable source of information verified the respondent's gang membership, rank, and gang name is sufficient to support that the respondent is a gang member, and the respondent has failed to present evidence to rebut that assertion. That is the court document.
By the way, that was a very weak argument by Jesse Waters. Jesse, you're usually better than that. Jesse said that it's because he was wearing Chicago Bulls gear that he's a member of MS-13, and he was like, the Bulls didn't have a successful season last year. Like, you're not from Chicago. I'm like, come on, stop it, Jesse. Like, it's the Bulls. I didn't know the Bulls were symbolism for MS-13.
Yeah, I didn't either. But I think this is just a really dumb case for the Dems to put so much weight on, because like now there's like some Democrats that are going to El Salvador to try to get him back, and I'm like, this isn't the one you fight.
It's a dumb case if he is actually a citizen of America. I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
No, he's 100% not a citizen.
Yeah,
He's definitely not a citizen.
Definitely, and he's going to claim asylum, and they're going to find out that he is a gang member, and he has been a gang member. It's going to be bullshit, and the Democrats are going to look retarded. I think Alex's point, this is playing right into the Republican handbook. It's like you're playing right into, literally the fucking president of El Salvador was like, yo, you got it wrong. Once the president of the country says you got it wrong, this is where you back off, and then you lock into certain things that make a lot more sense.
Because the original story was they were rounding people up, and they rounded up somebody who was not a gang member, and they sent him over, but now they're saying otherwise. I don't know what the real story is all I'm simply saying.
Listen, it sucks. Actually, I don't know. If he's a gang member, it doesn't suck. It's like, we don't need more gang members coming over here. Like, also, if you're a gang member here and then you come over to seek asylum because the rival gang want to get after you, it's like, yo, you chose up, bro. It's like, imagine Bloods are like, yo, the Crips are coming after me. I need you to give me protection. It's like, well, that's not how it works.
You're right.
You chose up.
The other thing that people are not paying attention to is, sure, to Chris's point, this is what people, are. What did you say, Chris? You said people are going to assume this is something larger. He actually said that. Like, if you want to debate something, debate that Trump said he would actually send U.S. citizens to El Salvador. Debate that.
Yeah.
As opposed to debating, this situation. Am I tripping?
You're not tripping.
Not at all. I mean, I was talking on the way over here with a friend, I guess former Democrat, who's furious with the Democratic Party. They're not doing anything. They're not doing enough. They're laying down. I was like, but then, and I understand what you're saying. Why put all your chips in with a guy who might be guilty?
I just read the court doc. Like, how much more evidence?
Well, it's based on the testimony of someone who's a witness. We don't know who he is. I mean, it's within this context of everybody being forced to be part of a gang potentially in that country, whatever.
Regardless, the determination of the respondent is a gang member, and it appears to be trustworthy and is supported by other evidence in the record.
So why did the Supreme Court vote 9-0 to bring him back?
Namely, information contained in the gang field interview sheet.
But listen, why did the Supreme Court vote 9-0 to bring him back?
I think it was maybe on the
9-0 is very rare.
Maybe it was on the case of seeking asylum, but it's like, well,
because technically, whatever type of residency he had, was backed up by the court, right? But my point is, everyone's like, and I agree, like this on the surface of it doesn't seem like a smart thing to throw all your weight behind, right? But Trump is constantly trying to see what he can get away with. And with that in mind, I don't want to support a fucking guy from a foreign gang that's in this country running from another foreign gang. I don't want to get behind that, but I got to stop this guy because I know he doesn't give a shit about it either. He's trying to see if he gets away with this, the next step will be natural, U.S. citizens getting sent out.
Was it me though?
Yes.
I'm just asking. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm telling you, these words did come out of Trump's mouth, so that's a fair thing to debate. But will this case lead to that if they actually are right?
There are 4 more steps in between this and that.
Yeah, so
he's delusional. It's like,
no, but so the thing is,
not delusional
the
at all.
case was still open. Like the case of proving whether or not he was a gang member, that's still open. So that's why the court said deporting him was illegal, because he still has due process.
Oh, okay.
But he's here illegally, so you actually don't get due process. You're here illegally. You broke the law by being here, and if he is connected to a gang unit, the gang has been deemed a terrorist unit, and you're not allowed to be here if you're part of a terrorist organization.
That makes sense too.
Like, why are we even spending time on this? Like,
I just told you why.
No,
because
I know,
of what could happen.
But you're worried about the slippery slope thing, and you're like, Trump is seeing if he can get away. You think Trump even knows this motherfucker's name, bro? He don't even know his motherfucker's name.
So
that's my whole point.
He actually was here legally. He came here at 16, got legal protection in 2019 to stay because of the dangerous situation in El Salvador. So he was technically here legally.
I don't know.
So he was here illegally.
Legally.
I think the conversation should be.
But you can't be here legally if you're part of a gang.
I would focus on these words from Donald Trump. Homegrowns are next. Trump hopes to deport and jail U.S. citizens abroad. That, to me, is more something that everybody should be debating and asking why the hell would he say that, as opposed to this.
Yo, you break
case.
the law, man. Hey, man, sometimes you got to go to San Quentin. Sometimes you got to go to El Salvador.
No.
No.
Send him to Greenland. Send him to Greenland.
No, I mean, no. And I thought about this when I heard him say it. Will that deter people from committing crimes? Like when you know the consequences and penalties are up here.
Yo, son,
but also too, why are we wiping our ass with the Constitution?
You got to look into El Salvador. El Salvador was the most murderous and dangerous place in the Western Hemisphere. It is now the safest place in the Western Hemisphere because they started locking up these fucking criminals that are terrorizing normal, hardworking people's lives. And if you ask the people over there if they appreciate that effort, they are incredibly grateful because they were held hostage by those criminal organizations.
Sure, but what they got to do with sending American citizens over there?
They seem to know what to do with them. Yo, if you
I hope you're being hype about it.
I like people who obey the law.
But we have prisons here.
We need more. Lock them up. Lock them up.
I think we need taxpayers.
If you spend more than 15 seconds at the milk bar, at the coffee shop, you're going to El Salvador. Shout out Scott Jennings. Put that into effect now.
We need taxpayers to pay their fair share of taxes. Well, we need these corporations to pay their fair share of taxes so we have more resources to put in our communities to try to keep people from being criminals.
Yo, why do criminals get to see with their families when they killed somebody and that person never gets to see their family again?
I'm with you.
If you kill somebody...
But there's a difference between criminals and murderers,
Yeah, that's true. But if you're deemed a murderer and you murder somebody, they don't get to see their family for the rest of their life, but you get visitations every fucking week. Fuck you. You locked up in El Salvador. I don't give a fuck. Why are we not worried about the people's family?
Why El Salvador?
That shit sounds good.
Bro, Staten Island is right there.
I don't want to put that in those nice people to Staten Island.
There's places in America.
You murder somebody.
Hey, San Quentin? Where the fuck is that at?
Cali.
San Quentin ain't no joke. Rikers ain't no motherfucking joke.
Yeah, but Rikers is not a prison.
Anywhere you can get butt.
It's a jail. It's not. What?
Rikers is a prison.
Not jail.
No, it's a jail.
It's like
you still don't want to be there.
No, you don't want to be in any jail.
Like people get killed in Rikers.
But you should have thought about that before you murdered somebody.
I am 100% with you.
Yo, you kill people, you're out of here, bro. China.
I wonder why El Salvador. I wonder why he feel like as many prisons in America. Why does he feel like they got to go to El Salvador?
No, it's because El Salvador, because of the rampant crime and the terroristic activity of the cartels out there, they had a stranglehold over the people of the country. In order to rebuke that, they created these massive jail facilities. So they're housing all these people there, and they become incredibly proficient at it. So they're basically, it's almost like outsourcing manufacturing. Instead of making iPhones, we're going to send our criminals over there.
You know what's ruining prisons in America? Social media.
Why? Because they're out there posting and shit?
Yes, you got all of these prisoners that looking like they having a good-ass motherfucking time. We grew up on sodomy. It's true. We grew up on...
That just sounds
We grew up thinking that if you in prison, you getting butt...
That was a good deterrent.
Why do you think they called it scared straight? They would scare you.
They scare
you.
You're right.
You want to stay straight? You want to stay straight?
Yeah.
Keep your ass out of prison. Because if you go to motherfucking prison, they're going to make you a little crooked.
Oh, they're going to make you very crooked.
What was that shit you said?
I don't know.
I'm going to do it and you got to decide whether it's... what did you say? What would you say? You had to decide whether it's... Pay the bills, Tim.